The wisdom we ignore until it's too late. There comes a time in life when you finally realize that the things you chased for years meant nothing. And the things you ignored, your family, time, love, and peace, were the only things that ever mattered. But what if I told you, you don't have to wait until you're 70 to realize this? What if the wisdom that can change your life forever already exists, not in books, not in schools, but in the hearts of those who have already lived it? Tonight, I'm going to share with you the most powerful life lessons that only experience can teach, told through the real stories of people who have nothing left to chase except time. If you listen closely, you might just rewrite your entire life before it's too late. Stay with me till the end, because the last story will break you. If you find this insight helpful, subscribe to my channel, Mindbenders, and hit that notification bell so that my next video will be delivered right into your feed. 1. Time is your greatest currency, and it's non-refundable. A retired person will tell you this. Life feels long, until you look back. Then you realize time is the most expensive thing you'll ever own. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose people and meet new ones. But the one thing you'll never recover is time. Pause. What would happen if every 20-year-old understood this one truth? Would they still waste years chasing meaningless things, or would they invest every second in what truly matters? Mr. John Peterson was a school teacher for 38 years. When I asked him if he had any regrets in life, he looked down, smiled softly, and said, "I regret never watching my children grow up." John spent his life working 14-hour days to build a secure future for his family. But the future he built cost him his present. He missed birthdays, soccer games, school plays, all in the name of providing. And now? He's 84, his children have their own families, and the time he once had is gone forever. "If I could do it again," he whispered, "I'd choose time over money. Every single time." The harsh truth is, we think we have time. We don't. 2. Choose peace over being right, or you'll die alone. In your 20s, you want to prove you're right. In your 40s, you realize it doesn't matter. By your 60s, you only want one thing: peace. Most fights aren't about who's right, they're about who carries the bigger ego. A retired person will tell you, ego ruins more lives than failure ever will. Mrs. Fatima Malik and her sister, Salma, were once inseparable. But in 1992, they argued over who should inherit their father's house. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into years. And neither spoke again. 25 years later, Fatima picked up the phone to apologize. But Salma had already passed away months earlier. "I was right," Fatima said with a trembling voice, "but I lost my sister forever. And that's when I realized, being right costs nothing. But being at peace is priceless." Most people go through life winning arguments and losing relationships. Don't be one of them. 3. Money is important, but it's not wealth. Yes, money matters. It will buy comfort, security, and freedom. But what happens when you're 70, and the only thing your money can't buy back is the time you lost chasing it? Real wealth is measured by 3 things: health, relationships, and the number of people who smile when they hear your name. Mr. Harish Kumar made his first million by 32. Owned 3 luxury cars by 40. And retired as a millionaire by 50. But by 78, he died alone in a nursing home. His children never visited. His wife left him. His money bought everything, except love, family, and legacy. Then I met Mrs. Maria Castillo. She worked in a small bakery her entire life. Never made more than $40,000 a year. But when she died, her funeral was attended by over 600 people, because she spent her life giving, not hoarding. And in that moment, I realized, money isn't wealth. Love, time, and kindness. That's true wealth. 4. Love isn't how someone makes you feel, it's how they make you grow. Love isn't how someone makes you feel in the first 6 months. It's how they make you grow in the next 60 years. A retired person will tell you, The best love stories aren't written in passion, they're written in patience. Choose your partner carefully, because that one decision will affect your happiness more than any job, degree, or career ever will. Mr. Abdul and Mrs. Khadija have been married for 57 years. When I asked them their secret, they didn't say passion. They didn't say butterflies. They said, we fell in love 3 times, with the same person. First in their youth. Again in their 40s when life tested them. And finally in their 60s, when they realized they never needed anyone else. The truth is, love isn't about how someone makes you feel. It's about how someone makes you stay, even when life gets hard. 5. Protect your name, it will outlive you. Your reputation is the only thing that will echo in this world long after you're gone. No matter how much money you make, no matter how famous you become, at the end of your life, your name will either open doors for your children, or lock them forever. Mr. Hassan was an ordinary shopkeeper. But when he died, his entire town shut down for his funeral. Why? Because Hassan spent his life lending money without asking for it back. He smiled at everyone, even those who hated him. He spoke gently, even to those who didn't deserve it. And now? Years after his death, his name still opens doors for his children. Your reputation is the only inheritance your children will ever carry. Protect it with your life. 6. Pain will shape you more than success ever will. Every retired person has one secret: the happiest moments of their life didn't shape them. The hardest moments did. The heartbreak, the failures, the nights spent crying alone. That's where real wisdom is born. Mrs. Clara Rodriguez lost her husband in a car accident when she was 32. She raised 2 daughters alone. Worked 2 jobs. Barely slept. And when I asked her what that pain taught her, she smiled through her tears and said, that nothing, not even heartbreak, can kill you unless you let it. Pain doesn't break you. It builds you into who you're meant to become. So don't fear pain. Embrace it. 7. Kindness is the greatest legacy you'll ever leave. Nobody remembers how rich you were. Nobody remembers how powerful you were. But the one thing people will never forget is how you made them feel. A retired person will tell you, kindness costs nothing, but it buys immortality. Every morning at 6 a.m., Mr. Samuel walked to the same street corner to feed stray dogs. For 14 years, without fail. When I asked him why, he simply smiled and said, because when I'm gone, they'll still remember me. And that's when I realized, the world won't remember how much money you made. But it will never forget how you made them feel. Kindness echoes through generations. The final truth. If you're watching this right now, you still have time. Time to call your parents and say, I love you. Time to forgive that person you've held a grudge against for years. Time to chase what sets your soul on fire. But the clock never stops ticking. The harsh truth is, most people don't realize what matters in life until they're too old to change it. You don't have to make the same mistake. The wisdom we ignore until it's too late.